Hello everyone, thanks for pressing play. We are Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games here in Shreveport, Louisiana, as well in Texarkana, Texas. You can always visit our website at ExcaliburCCG.com, and we are talking, like we do every week, we're talking about great comics hitting the shelf for June 4th, 2014. Talking comics is what we do. We come together, Randy and myself, to tell you about the good stuff hitting the shelf, some of our favorites, some of our picks, trying to steer you in the right direction, keeping you informed, and suggesting some great titles for you to check out. But, guys, our subscriber count is slowly ticking. And for everybody that went and recommended us for the Comic Uno Best Comic Video Show nomination, dudes and dudettes, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. It came out of nowhere. And Ricardo, I think you're the one that I have to thank for that, because Ricardo, Rom's Comics, was the guy who initially said it, posted about it. So if I remember correctly, I think it was Ricardo.
We are such a fledgling show that compared to some of those guys.
Yeah, some of those guys
cool.
are huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge followings, and yes, we're extremely grateful.
So welcome anybody new watching our show because of that.
Exactly. If you're coming over from Comic Uno, thanks for coming over. Thanks for subscribing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for here on YouTube. And as always, sometimes I forget to mention this, we do have a longer show. So if you're not able to sit down and watch us, or however your preferred video medium is, you can always download the MP3 of this episode from our site in the description below and listen to us on the go if that's what you would like. But guys, Randy's got some cool stuff to show off.
Yeah, I'd also like to say, you said, as always, we're talking comics for, well, we're not always talking comics for that, June 4th. We're talking about for every week.
Got me.
We're talking about new comics. Anyway, we have lots of cool things. The new Play Arts Batgirl figure is in, and I don't know how the lighting will work on this, but super detailed, has kind of a bit of an anime style to it with it, but these things are hot, very popular. She is brand spanking new. Along those same lines, we got in last week the RoboCop play art.
Oh yeah, the new one, yeah.
And this is classic RoboCop right here. But we also have the new RoboCop that has the black outfit and the one human hand.
Yeah, right,
so
exactly.
We've got that.
Humanity.
Cool figures. Also, just out, and this is heavy, is the new Warhammer 40K. I believe this is the 7th edition here. This is a trio of books. There are 3 of them in here. The first book is A Galaxy of War. And what this does is this goes through and talks to you about the art of collecting and painting your miniatures. The next book, Dark Millennium, is a book talking about the history of, I guess, the world in which the figures are played in. And then the last book is called The Rules, which is obviously the rule book for Warhammer 40K. So we are getting more and more with the Warhammer in the store here. If you enjoy playing the game, if you have the resources to be able to purchase the game, hop on by, pick up the newest edition, and pick up some figures so you can start playing.
Very cool. And those especially that back row, that's super detailed. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I had slight issue with the Wonder Woman had like sunburned thighs there. It was kind of weird. Do any kids watch?
Let's keep it family friendly.
Superman, stop.
Guys, that's it for show and tell, basically. But we are now diving into storylines, continuing here for June 4th, 2014. What would you like to start off with, sir?
Oh, the Superman Doomed is still continuing on here, and with Action Comics number 32. We have, I thought one thing, Chris, I guess, looked ahead and knew what was going on here. I thought it would be cool that if, as Superman or Kryptonian used more of their powers, maybe this was some sort of disease or something that happened where they turned into what looks like Doomsday. Apparently, you're right, it's a Doomsday virus that somehow Superman has contracted here. And so he looks to be turning into Doomsday here. He's struggling to maintain control in this issue, and we also see that somebody, don't know who, place your odds, somebody is going to betray him.
Cool.
So that's what's going on in Action Comics.
Lots of people have been digging that storyline. So
red hot.
So check it out, guys. I don't know if there's been any multiple printings yet, but it may be on the verge of that for some things. So
I think Superman, Wonder Woman has a second printing on something. It's now in a plastic bag, which it was not previously.
There you go, guys. Moving on, Green Lantern number 32. Forgot. Well, actually, I didn't, because this is part 3 of the Uprising storyline that's been going on throughout the Green Lantern titles. You've seen Hal Jordan take over. He's had the issues that he's had with the whole Corps trying to be a leader instead of being the hotshot, cocky kind of guy that he's been. Everything had to change when he finally became a leader. But now people are taking advantage of his newbie status, I guess you could say, as a leader, especially of the Green Lantern Corps, who has established enemies throughout the universe. And now we see in this part 3 chapter here, the Durlans make an attempt to seize the throne, and I'm paraphrasing here, but we're looking at them make an attempt to make a coup. And then also, one of the enemies of the Green Lantern Corps may have important knowledge to help them out. So, guys, if you've been reading Green Lantern, tell us about this particular storyline. We did a lot of coverage of the previous stuff that was going on. So tell us if you're reading this, and tell us what you think about this Uprising storyline, because it seems like DC editorial is just wanting to hit you with event after event after event,
right?
With Green Lantern stuff in particular. So,
right.
What's next for you?
What's next for me is what's next for you.
Oh,
we have Original Sin number 3 coming out here.
I'll take it over. Hey, guys, you've read what's been going on here, but now in this issue, which is particularly exciting to me, the person who actually did the killing and the eye stealing is now reporting to his boss. Oh. And we get to find out who that is, and possibly why the Watcher, was a target in the first place.
Huh.
So I'm very interested in that. And this past week's Mighty Avengers issue was a nice Original Sin tie-in.
It's like the one book I haven't read yet.
I won't spoil it then. I really liked the way that tied into what's going on. I'm not going to spoil it for you. To me, it was really nice and touching. So that's just my take on it. You may think it was kind of corny and stupid, but anyway. But guys, that's it for the storylines. I mean, I was looking at the list and I was trying to find. There's like no original, besides Original Sin number 3. I didn't see any other tie-in issues for this week. So it is what it is, guys. Moving on, we have a very interesting question of the week, courtesy of our friend Randy. Take it away, Randy.
What I want to know from you guys this week, we have been talking. We have people who comment and they say, tell us what's hot. Tell us what your favorite title is. Tell us what's been flying off the shelves. Okay, we tried doing some of that for you guys. I want to know, what is a book that while you have been reading comics, not something before reading comics, what is a book that you missed the bus on? What is a book that you did not pick up? Maybe you missed it. The issue 1 was already sold when you came in. Maybe it was something that you looked at, went, nah, I won't get this, and bam, it blew up. There's something there that for some reason you did not read this book. It's got to be something while you were reading comics here.
Like in your entire time of reading comics.
In your entire time of reading comics. There are certain things, like maybe back in the day you were too young to have read Watchmen or something like that. You were a little kid. But yeah, talk to us about what it is that you missed the bus on, the big comic book. What about for you? What's yours?
Let's see here. In recent days, some of the Image stuff is kind of, as far as Image comics go, has kind of gotten big. I didn't get on board like Joe Casey's Sex. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get on board Matt Fraction's Sex Criminals. Mm-hmm. There's a theme here. No, I'm just kidding. But I didn't really get on board, and those
Repression.
Those are popular, especially they're popular titles, especially among the blogosphere and the reviewers and stuff. Right. But during my earlier years, I never, whenever Hellblazer was being published, I never read any of that, and that's a staple nowadays. Along with whenever it was being published, I never read Preacher, Garth Ennis. I have read that now in later years, but when it was coming out, I started off on Why the Last Man and Ex Machina, but I never finished those.
Right.
So Those are just a few that I can think of off the top of my head. Hopefully I'm getting this right. I'm trying to...
I went maybe about a dozen issues into Ex Machina, and that was almost... There's a good way to write political and a bad way to write political, and this almost seemed to be like heavy, leaning towards one side kind of political. It wasn't necessarily my bag.
Right.
For me, the big one that I missed was Y the Last Man. And that was one where I picked up issue 1 and I read issue 1 and I still have issue 1. But at the same time, I think the next month, issue 1 of Fables came out. And I read Fables. And at the time, I didn't, I think I was a college student or something. I did not have the money to have all these books. And so I liked Fables more than the issue 1 that I read of Y the Last Man. Okay. So I never picked up any more Y the Last Man, and shame on me, I've never read it. Okay. I have not read Y the Last Man.
Okay.
There are other things, back when I first started collecting comics, I think Transmet was going on, and Preacher was going on. But I didn't have any knowledge of books like that. I don't think previews were coming out at that time period, or they were very different. And I was really just superheroes, Marvel comics. So I was not reading DC. I was not looking for anything else. I was just looking for Marvel comics at the time. So I didn't know any better.
Right.
I did know better with Y the Last Man, and I missed out.
Okay. For a couple other ones, I never read Death, High Cost of Living, or any of the Sandman stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of the classic ones there that we missed out on, but those are, for you, those were, I guess, while you were collecting comics. Those were before my time.
Yeah, okay, that's possibly so. I'm not sure about the timeline, but guys, you get the gist of it. What did you miss the boat on? Tell us what titles you can think of that Randy said, that took off, but you never got on board.
Maybe it was The Walking Dead. Maybe, maybe one of these Image ones. I don't want to keep on giving suggestions because we have people coming in the store saying, "Stop giving suggestions because you're taking my answer."
Tell us below, guys. Sign in. Tell us below whether it's the same as us or not. Tell us below. We want to hear from you about it. Moving on, guys. Several new number ones hitting the shelf this week.
Yes.
What would you like to start off with, sir?
The big one this week that I have been looking forward to and is finally here is a cult classic.
Okay.
Big Trouble in Little China number 1. Jack Burton is back, and he's bringing along his friends, Eric Powell and Brian Chiria. He is the artist, writer. I don't know if he did the writing. He was the artist on the Secret History of D.B. Cooper. So awesome artwork here, and awesome writing from Eric Powell with any of the Goon stuff that if you've read it. What we have here is Jack's back. He's still trucking along there in the Pork Chop Express.
I love it.
Telling his stories over the CB. Only this time it seems that his friend Wang has a lady friend who he's supposed to be getting married to, but she's been kidnapped by the forces of evil, by a demon here. So Jack is going to help Wang get her back. The big problem for Jack here is that evil remembers him.
That's right.
They want some payback for all the hell they put him or he put them through. So this looks to be a whole lot of fun here. Pick it up, enjoy it. That's the most you can do with something like this. This is going to be, I think, should be about like reading an Army of Darkness book. Just fun stuff.
There you go. That's a great comparison. I think it's a great comparison. That's cool. Guys, the team up that you've been asking for, but you never said with words from your mouth.
Since 1967?
Exactly. Batman 66 meets Green Hornet number 1. You've got some top talent teaming up here to create this. Kevin Smith, who you've seen his movies, you've read his books, he's done other Batman stuff in the past, and Ty Templeton, artist extraordinaire. Teaming up with Batman and Robin and Green Hornet and Kato for their... And this is supposed to take place like in the same time period as their original encounter did on the TV show. So back in the 60s.
Well, it takes place at a later date, I think, but it ties into that original encounter.
Yes. So we're going to get to see them team up again. I had no idea. Well, I mean, Kevin Smith is a huge Batman fan. I didn't realize he was this nostalgic. But there we go. What crime could be so deadly as to make these two rivals team up together? to fight evil. Looks like they're going to be facing up against, what's his name here? Gum?
General Gum.
General Gum.
Formerly known as Colonel Gum.
So to get a promotion or demotion?
He must have gotten a promotion.
I'm not sure how the hierarchy is.
Military.
If you know what the hierarchy is, tell us below, because I'm not sure. But for Batman 66 has been getting a lot of buzz and rave reviews. People digging that style and those classic kind of stories being told. So teaming up here with the Green Hornet seems like a match made in heaven. If you get it, tell us what it's like, what you think of it in the comments below.
This is the one, probably, I don't know, it's up there with Big Trouble. I am so excited about Princess Ugg is coming out, #1 from Oni Press. I'm going to say the name here.
Okay.
I'm going to say the name. If I get it wrong, I apologize. I looked on YouTube. I was trying to listen for it. Ted Nafee is the artist and the writer on this. He did Courtney Crumlin, which is one of my all-time favorites. Love it. And this is another young adult kind of series here where there's this fairy tale land called Atracia. We'll say that. And they have this Princess Academy. All royalty sends their children here. I guess they're female children here to be educated.
Okay.
And from all the different 5 kingdoms. And this time there happens to be this Princess Olga from Grimeria coming in. She comes through the front gates on her war mammoth with her sword, with her axe, with her like skull helmet thing there. Nobody else is expecting this. They're all dainty. So I don't know if the academy's ready for them. I don't know if she's ready for the academy, but she's wanting an education here. We'll get to see. It looks fun. 4 kids, 4 adults. I'm so there.
Princess Ugg #1.
Princess Ugg.
That's cool. I've seen Ted Nafee, his name and stuff around. I even met him briefly one time at a con years ago. Yeah, but I didn't know who he was. And now he's become more popular, so the name is more familiar to me. Guys, moving on. Rise of the Magi, #1 from Image Comics, Top Cow Studios. This is Mark Silvestri writing this series, and Mark Silvestri is an Image founder. You know who he is. Cyberforce. All kinds of stuff. He's done X-Men in the past, Cyberforce, I mean, tons of stuff. But he's teaming up with a new artist here. The Darkness, thank you, sir. Sumaye Kesjin is the artist for this series, and this takes a look at a world where there is a black sphere that contains all magic, past, present, and future. And someone has stolen a chunk of this black sphere because the protection spell around it has been messed with, gotten around. And Asa Stonethrow, the main character that we're going to see here, he finds out about it, and he has to bridge the gap between our world and this other world that has the stone to protect both of them. So it looks like a little bit of Harry Potter mixed in with action adventure, youth, kind of a youth angle to it. So if you're a fan of that, I would love to see Silvestri doing interiors, but I think he's going to be doing mainly covers, and he's writing it. So giving room for a new talent to come on board here from the studios there and do that. So Rise of the Magi, check it out.
Yeah, also coming out from Image Comics this week is Superannuated Man #1. This is a 6-issue series. This is the mega popular within the indie community and slowly becoming more mainstream. Ted McKeever.
Yeah.
And I think he did the Sentinel book for Marvel. Their young one with the Justin kid who had the Sentinel. McKeever may have written that, so that may be about the most mainstream we've gotten with something from him. But Miniature Jesus is one of his books that he's done. He's just done tons of stuff here. Indie world. And what we have here, this is they don't give us a time period, but it's some future. In some future, in the little town of Blackwater, these mutated animals have come in and they have taken over this town. Everybody from the town is either they have booked it out of town, they are, I don't know, dead, eaten, something. They're gone. And there's one man, old man, who is somehow using, I guess, his wit, his guile, whatever, to survive in this town with all these, I guess, predatory advanced life forms here. So it'll be interesting to see what it is. He has a very distinctive art style here. So get ready for what I'm sure is going to be a pretty trippy story.
Yeah, that's also a mini series.
Yeah,
six issues. So definitely check that out. I'm gonna check it out. I like supporting Image Comics.
Yeah,
I like seeing this kind of different stuff. So I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
But guys, for our final section, we are moving on to our favorites. You know what this is. This is the stuff that, when it comes out, is at the top of our stack to read because we love these books. And we're so interested and invested in the storyline that we got to know what's going to happen. But, spoilers ahead. We may spoil a little bit here and there. But before we move into that, what was your favorite from last week?
Early on, my favorite was easily going to be Trees #1. Loved it. Pacing was great. Story was great. But then last night I read Miss Marvel #3.
Okay.
Is that it?
I think it was 3. I think it was the newest issue, I think.
Yeah, it's the latest issue. I think it's 3. I'm sorry about that. This book is phenomenal. The interaction between the characters is so genuine with how it seems like teenagers, and it's the way this book reminds me of the Runaways. It's so uncanny that how similar the writing style seems to be. And we slowly get to see Miss Kamala accepting her power and deciding she's going to do something more with it. It's so much fun getting to see her use these. I was not really impressed with the first little Marvel Point book with the powers. I thought, oh, it looks like Plastic Man. It's so much more than Plastic Man. Okay. And I'm just loving it so much. And Alfona has somewhat adjusted his art so that it doesn't look exactly like his art did in Runaways, but still awesome. Perfect book. I don't like reading books about teenagers because I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm far from it.
Exactly.
But it's good, and I want to keep on reading it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Tell me yours, man.
Let's see. For me, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It was Southern Bastards #2. I enjoyed that. I've enjoyed #1 and #2. This guy is not with me on that, and he's cringing. He probably doesn't want to hear another word I got to say about it. But anyway, I love it. I love the for an atheist, Jason Aaron. Yeah. I don't know about Latour, but Jason Aaron is a professed atheist, and for an atheist, he knows how to write. For me, a spiritual story. I mean, it's just great. It's so much a heartfelt story with things that everybody can relate to, things they can't change, things they can't get away from, running from what they should be doing or what they feel like they should be doing, following in the footsteps of someone. Everybody can kind of relate to that in some way, in some manner. And Tubbs is that guy in this series. And the way the first issue ended and the way the second issue ended, I loved it. It was just more reinforcement of that, of those trappings that you just can't get away from. So that was really great to me. You guys log in below and tell us what your favorite was from last week, and we're going to move on to our favorites coming out this week.
Yes. We have coming out from DC, Green Arrow #32 is coming out. We are finally done. We are moving away from the Outsiders War, and Broken is the name of the next story that's going on here. It's still Sorrentino and Lemire on the book. These guys, they are not taking a break. They are just, we're going to do every issue together, it seems, and that's awesome. I like that they're doing that.
Yes.
Green Arrow, Ollie is back in Seattle. He probably needs to rest. He needs to grieve, recover, but there's no time for that because in Seattle you have a new crime lord that has just, destroyed every one of his competition here in the form of Richard Dragon. Yeah. And now Ollie's going to have to deal with that in some way. I think when last we saw, it looked like what's his name from the TV series? Diggle was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Ollie's back in time to save Diggle. If he's not, I don't know. But it's going to be a good story. It's a great jumping on point for you guys.
The one, just mainly because of the shock factor of the end of #1. When it hit the shelf, I'm really looking forward to Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man #2. That last page was like,
say what?
Exactly. And there was a bit of I was actually surprised at that first issue because there were parts where it was like, okay, too much talking, and bam, oh, okay, all right, cool, this is going on, and then there was like these moments, so that it led up to that, and that set up a lot of stuff that we're going to see a continuation of here in number 2. Spider-Man's ultimate villain is on the loose now. Miles Morales is facing the decision of telling someone about who he really is, not just Miles, but that he's Spider-Man, and then on top of that, dealing with the big shocker at the end of the first issue. So, I mean, there's a couple. My mind's thinking, okay, we're going to go this direction or this direction. So, but I want to see where it's going, because if it's really him, then I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
If it's not, well, then I kind of have an idea where this is going to go.
Right.
So that's for me. Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 2.
And guys, if you are not checking that out, David Marquez is going to be the next big artist name to come in out of comics soon. He is phenomenal.
Exactly.
Also from Marvel Comics this week is Cyclops number 2, Greg Rucka and Russell Dauterman. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Okay, Dauterman. Yeah. And man, I love Dauterman's art on this book. We have the father and son, Cyclops and Corsair. They are off on their intergalactic reunion, get to know each other, kind of tour through the galaxy. Yeah. I guess that's why it's intergalactic, like I just said. I'm repeating myself. So they are the now on. Let's see here. I'm looking at Nailbiter when I should be looking at Cyclops. They are now on this planet that's a resort kind of planet. I want to say it's like Rigel 4 or whatever from Star Trek Next Generation, called Dixit. I don't know, Dixzit. Dixit. We'll go with that.
Sure.
But they're on this planet. Scott checking out the honeys, maybe not doing so well with it here. But, this is a resort. This is supposed to be a spectacular place to visit. Is there something maybe underneath that's a little more sinister and dark that's going on? I think with Corsair and Cyclops here, there probably is.
Exactly.
There usually is whenever you have one of these resort planets in, Doctor Who, Star Trek, any of those.
Exactly.
But it's still going to be awesome, and it's still going to be fun because Greg Rucka, damn it, he knows how to write an amazing comic.
That's awesome. Guys, another one for me, Magneto, number 5.
Awesome.
Oh, man, that wrap-up of that first storyline, that was wicked.
Yeah.
That was wicked, and the story itself took such a turn from what I thought those Sentinels were being created for.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spoil that for you, but Magneto, I'm loving this. I'm loving this series so far. Since he's dealt with that threat, Shield is on his case. Shield is chasing him down, and there's someone that with ties to his past in this issue number 5 is coming out that's chasing him down. What will she do about what he's been doing? So I'm wondering who that might be. I don't think it. I don't know. I know it's not. It's not Mystique.
It's not Mystique. I'm pretty certain of that.
So I'm thinking of 2 other people. I'm thinking of maybe Allison Blair, Dazzler, or the other lady, that Allison Cooper, something Cooper,
Val Cooper,
Val Cooper, possibly. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out with this issue. But man, Cullen Bunn has been knocking it out of the park as far as I'm concerned with this issue. And Gabriel Hernandez Walta on the art.
Yeah.
Javier Fernandez has taken over, it looks like, with a couple of issues. I don't know if that's permanent, but both of them have fit the story. So I've been totally digging it. You should check it out.
Last up for me, Nailbiter number 2 comes out this week. We met officer, and I should say suspended officer, Nicholas Finch in the first issue. He's out trying to help his friend who has somehow disappeared in Buckaroo, Oregon. And Buckaroo, Oregon just happens to be the hometown of some of the birthplace, I guess, of some of the deadliest, worst serial killers you could imagine, I guess, in the way they kill people. Maybe that's what they mean by that.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't really care about this. He's just trying to find his friend.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, he's enlisting the help of one of the serial killers there in Nailbiter. We got to kind of see at the beginning and the end of the first issue. And did you get a chance to check that one out yet? Man, that everything's sitting right there on the butcher block. You go, ooh. Is he up to his old tricks again, or what?
Exactly.
We don't know.
Yeah.
One of the parts here that some guys, if you have not picked this up, if you can hunt down the first issue and get this, this guy's art reminds me a lot of Greg Capullo's art.
I noticed
faces
some of that.
And some of that really reminds me of that. He's going to be a big name artist here. Be on the watch out for that.
Yeah, I did finally get a chance to read number 1, so that was cool. Get on board that, guys. And the last up for me, Iron Fist Living Weapon number 3, hitting the shelf. At the end of that last issue, when Rand finally gets to Kunlun, and we see what he sees when he shows up there, I have no idea who this techno person is that showed up there and challenged the daughter, the ruler.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with their names or who they are. I'd have to look it up.
I'm terrible with names. So,
yeah. But it shocked the ruler of Kunlun as he confronted that particular person, and now we see Danny making his way back to Kunlun to see what basically was just a destroyed mess of Kunlun, this magical, eternal city. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to do here. We're looking at ninja nurses versus killers in suits, and we're also looking at the villain to be revealed. And this is another case where it's someone that's close to Danny Rand. So the revelation, I am waiting to see what that is.
Oh, and I'm kind of willing to bet we might have seen the person who's close to him in some of those flashbacks of him as a kid.
Probably so.
I'm willing to bet now that you say that. But that's not bad. That's fine.
We'll see.
Give him a good villain.
And I like what Carrie Andrews has been doing with this, where he's, so far from what I've read, I mean, he's sticking to his word with the type of story that he's wanting to tell.
Yeah.
He is showing what has happened to Danny Rand and how instead of how the death chased him,
right,
basically, to Kunlun. And it shows how his dad disappeared or died, his mom died, and how vicious that was, what was going on with that. There was some other dynamics going on with that. So I'm really digging this so far.
Yeah, definitely. Loved it.
That's it for me.
And me.
Guys, that is a wrap. Be sure, log in and tell us below what was the comic series since in your time of reading comics that you missed the boat on, that you didn't pick up, everybody else did. Tell us what it is. Tell us in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the nominations. We appreciate the subscriber count climbing. We appreciate everyone that watches our show. And don't forget, we are ExcaliburCCG.com, Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games here in Shreveport, Louisiana, as well as in Texarkana, Texas. That's it for this week, guys. Anything else to add, sir?
Yeah, I have a little something to add real quickly.
Uh-oh.
I want to create one of those memes. Is that the term? I want to create one of those, how people see, what you do, what your parents think you do, what your friends think you. I want to create one of those for the comic shop.
For the comic shop.
Because what people think I do seems to be like these comic book men. I'm going to sit around and talk all day and, have people come in and haggle with. I don't do that. Maybe Chris does. I don't do that. Or and this is the one I don't like less, but I'd have an image of it in there, is what people think I do, is sit around reading the comics all day. It's a comic shop. It's a business. I don't read comics all day. First thing on Wednesdays when we've just put new books on the shelf. Hey, have you read this? No, I haven't. I'm working.
Exactly. I've done that myself. So
what do I do? What it actually looks like that I do? Chris has gotten a little bit of a taste of what I do. We have some 400 boxes in backstock, and I take and I move these heavy, long boxes from this end to this end, and back to this end, and back to this end, over and over again. What it looks like, or what I feel like I'm doing, is like those strongman competitions where they have those huge kegs they have to toss up, or where they get those giant boulders they're having to. I get like pictures, so I don't know about all the different what everybody does, but I definitely have some images in mind of what people think I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, we should come up you guys are wrong with what you think I'm doing all day.
No, guys, it's not all about sitting around reading comics and chatting with folks. There's other things that have to be done for something like this to continue.
To make our shop look purty and run.
Exactly. So, guys, that's it for this week. Leave a comment below. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. That's really it. Until next time, guys, be safe, take care, read great comics, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. June 4th.
Okay, that's kind of gross.